Greetings and salutations, horror movie fans. My name is Gilbert Ybarra, and welcome back to the Attic Review. On today's episode of Tar, I am continuing my love fest of Ti West and Mia Goth in the gorgeously tragic Pearl. I love a good origin story, especially in regards to a twisted villain like we saw pop up in the blood and sex-filled X. There was so much more to Pearl than we got to see in X that I'm so glad that West and Goth reunited together to ink this Technicolor thriller that is a chilling glimpse into a dark soul just waiting to be released. In Attic Review style, I'm going to break the movie down into the 3 acts and what I loved and didn't really care for about each act, how I felt about the movie overall. So without further ado, Ti West and Mia Goth present Pearl. Please take a moment to soak up the warmth, colors, and musical stylings that open up the film and introduce us to our title character. The atmosphere feels like we're going to be whisked away to Oz, but where's Pearl going in this small town? Fucking nowhere. That's where. It is 1918 Texas, and she is stuck on a farm with Mommy Dearest and a near-vegetated father who happen to be German immigrants. And her new comes-from-money hubby is off fighting the Great War overseas, so life all around sucks for Pearl. Despite her mother's depressing roots in reality, Pearl is dying for more. Cleaning up after the farm animals and her own pappy are for the birds, and she's had enough of it. She wants the spotlight and for the world to know her name. A chore she enjoys doing to get out of the rainstorm she calls her life, Pearl gets to head into town to get Papa some medicine. But that naughty Pearl has an off-the-book stop at the local picture house so that way she can see her inspiration dancing up on the silver screen. After enjoying the film and a little bit of Grandpa's cough medicine, Pearl meets the projectionist, dashing stranger that makes her feel some wifey things, so she exits stage left to go take care of some stuff out in the cornfield with a scarecrow. And oh, she a freak. I'll let you watch. At dinner time, Pearl receives another tongue lashing from Mother about how inconsiderate and selfish and just how much she sucks in general. But it looks like her prayers are answered the next day, as her sweet as pie sister-in-law Mitzi drops by for a visit and informs Pearl that there's a dance contest that could be her ticket off the farm. Ecstatic to share the good news and to get some more of that projection candy, she makes a gorgeous late night visit to the theater and we end Act 1. Now before we get to the pros and the cons, please subscribe and tell some friends. Now let's get going. Oof, on paper, Act 1 might seem a little dull and dare we say, slow? But again, I said on paper because despite no hardcore violence yet, I love that we are quietly fed some tasty malevolence. Yo, Pearl is dark as we saw in the opening credits with her Lake Placid pet and her overall disturbing behavior towards her vulnerable pappy. But oh my goodness, I love the colors, the music, the editing, the goosebumps that I get from Mia Goth being a psycho. Ti West, you are my boy! Dislikes though? Not on my end, but from a casual viewer's point of view, I can see valid reasonings to call this a slow start. And ooh, but the film is gonna happily wake you up in Act 2. Act 2 begins with Pearl watching some risque movies from overseas courtesy of the projectionist. I see you, projectionist! Because this sly devil is tempting the lust and wanderlust of the impressionable Pearl, and she leaves the movie house untouched. For now. But certainly has a lot more fuel for those darkest desires of hers as she realizes the only thing holding her back is those darn parents of hers. Things are getting scary and really tense around the house though. Mama's temperature is reaching a boiling point from her daughter's constant defiance and disobedience. And Pearl's curiosity for murder is becoming an itch that she can barely hold back from scratching anymore. And then, almost telling her pappy, later alligator, down by the lake, she gets caught by a very concerned mother. Ooh, and we gonna have a showdown at the dinner table tonight. And good lord, what an emotional bursting of the dam for Pearl and her mother. As Pearl expresses her hatred for the simple life, Mama fires back that she knows Pearl is quietly a psycho and that she should never experience the outside world. As the emotional floodgates are left violently open, these two duke it out verbally before turning it into fisticuffs that leaves the mother jacked up beyond repair. Now Pearl decides to leave her near fatally wounded mother and sitting in his own filth father to have some quiet time. And she darts off to go seek some breaking her vows coitus with the movie man. Finally, we are about to be rewarded for our patience as the projectionist takes Pearl back to meet the folks. Something stinks around here, and it's not just a rotting pig on the front porch that's grossing me out. Yuck. Nah, it stinks of foul play up in this bitch. A combination of post-sex clarity and an awful things must have just happened here vibe send the projectionist packing. But you ain't quitting Pearl like that, hell no! She makes that F-boy pay for trying to hit it and quit it, and I must say it is quite the scene. Well, now that she started, why stop now? Let's finish off Pops and let Mom suffer for a while. Pearl is feeling good and good enough to dance. Feeling like a weight has just been lifted off of her dark heart, she is ready for that audition to get out of this infected one-horse town, and we end Act 2. Oh, what a nice middle act, and you know what else is nice? Showing some love to the Addict Review by subscribing. Now let's talk about what was hot and what was not in Act 2. Act 2 was phenomenal after the quiet opening. Yes, the kills and the gore were immense, but what fire performances from Pearl and her mother. Shit. Such pain in these powerful words, delivered with such anguish and passion when they're talking about the woes of each other's lives. Just wow. We all have burdens and crosses to carry. And hearing and seeing the frustrations that most feel in their lives on the big screen was just captivating. And I swear, if this wasn't a horror movie, that scene and upcoming scene with Mia Goth would be in talks for Oscar nominations. Anyone at this point trying to label the movie as slow and boring and not scary, well, I'm sorry that this movie couldn't touch her emotions. Because at this point, this movie is making me not just feel fear, but anguish, longing, uneasiness, sorrow, and near sympathy for Pearl and her mother. I was scared because, like Joker said, all it takes is one bad day. And fun fact that I read, this was affectionately referred online as Joker for girls. How men related to the character of Joker, women were relating to the frustrations and feelings portrayed by Pearl, so I thought that was really cool. Nothing bad to say about Act 2, so let's get into Act 3 and the conclusion of Pearl. Act 3 begins with Pearl meeting up with Mitzi at the church, so that way the ladies can strut their stuff to see which lucky gal gets to join the group and leave town for good. Personally, and not just because she can murder me, I thought Pearl was divine and won the whole thing. But those dumb jerk judges told her it's a no from me, dog, and booted her out American Idol style. I guess she didn't have that X factor. Pearl is a hot mess, sobbing and crying hysterically, looking like me after being rejected and rejected and rejected. But this ain't about you, boy. Let's focus on Pearl. Mitzi, being the angel that she is, consoles Pearl and takes her back to the murder house where Pearl has a confession to make. She's no fool. And Pearl has an Academy Award-winning monologue of a confession in which she states, yeah, she knows she's not right in the head. She's afraid of her husband leaving her and no one will love her or accept her. And the most frightening part, she knows Mitzi won the contest. Things just got weird, and like Danny Trejo in Halloween, come on Pearl, Mitzi was good to you. But Pearl has had enough of this world not giving her what she wants and deserves, and unleashes her fury towards the world on poor Mitzi on a satisfying, slow-moving chase that killed me with anticipation. Well, we close the film with Pearl out of her mind, and her happy to be home from war husband Howard shows up to start their blissful marriage. And damn it, will these credits ever fade to black because Mia Goth is scaring the piss out of me. You know what else scares the potty out of me? The fact that you're watching this and you're not subscribed to the Addict Review. So really quickly, subscribe to the Addict Review and let's get into Act 3 highlights and how I felt about the movie overall. That's how you close a film. Not since the car ride at the end of 7 have I been so fixated on the screen. That Mia Goth 7-minute or so monologue was one of the best speeches I've ever heard. I've seen a lot of scary moments on film, but that patient, feel your heart rising because you want to run moment when Pearl begins to chase her prey Mitzi, that struck a unique chord of fear in me that I enjoyed despite any criticisms people might have of it. Act 3 closed this prequel out nicely and even snuck in some nice Easter eggs for the soon-to-be trilogy. And same as Act 2, empty folder here in the complaint department. How did I feel overall about Pearl? Well, I felt more admiration for Ty West and a new adoration for Mia Goth. Miss Goth was brilliant as a star, but she also co-wrote it and co-produced this as well. And Ty West, well, watch my reviews for X and the House of the Devil, and you'll see that this movie just solidified why I believe he walks on horror movie water. Pearl is a rare origin story that maintains an anticipation despite knowing what happens in X. And makes me very happy to know that this trilogy will be completed next year with the release of Maxine. Well, that's it for today's episode of Tart and my love for Ti West and Mia Goth in Pearl. Please leave your thoughts on Pearl in the comment section. Subscribe, tell some friends. My name is Gilbert Ybarra. Thank you so much for watching the Addict Review. Smile, Tiger.